Then you have who corrects. This is a simple section and all you need to remember is this name. You have Selbstinitiator, Selbstkorrektur, meaning the student finds out what the error is and the student himself corrects it. Advantage is there is no communication break and there is no disadvantage. Then you have Selbstinitiator, Fremdkorrektur, meaning the student knows his mistake but either the teacher or the other student corrects the mistake. So here Vorteile, the student takes the error honestly and then tries to remember. But the Nachteil is, has the student really understood what his error was and how to correct it? That's a non-confirmed process. Then you have Fremdinitiator, Selbstkorrektur. Somebody else finds out the error and the student corrects it. So here the Vorteile, Korrektur is besser hart because the student didn't know. So when somebody finds fault, he will say, okay, this is a fault. The Nachteil is you are breaking the communication and thereby the student who is communicating might not really estimate the seriousness of the error. Then you have Fremdinitiator, Fremdkorrektur. The teacher or other students find the error and they correct it. Vorteil is it's very less time consuming. You are breaking the Kommunikationsfluss and you don't even know if the speaker or the student understood the error and the correction. Then you have Arten der Aufforderung von Selbstkorrektur. So ultimately you have to motivate the students to correct on their own while speaking. For this they have suggested different techniques. They are verbal techniques and non-verbal techniques. Verbal and non-verbale Signale for Selbstkorrektur. So let's look at the verbal techniques. First is signal the error. Then Fehler und Fehlerkorrektur kennzeichnen. So symbolize this area, this symbol. So you can show them where the error was and what the error was. Explain them the reason for the same. Give them tips where to find the correct structure and how to practice the same. Give them tips about Inhalt, logical elements or the practical elements which are dependent on the structure, so that way he will remember the rules. Then you go to non-verbale Aufforderung. You don't speak here, you do Kopfschüttel, no, like this, or you can show the finger saying that hey, this is a incorrect way, and then you give the help also using Gestik und Mimik. So what are the advantages of non-verbal signal like this? So it is very short and less time consuming. You can, or the speaker can clearly see the signals himself when the teacher shows it. So that way it is Einprägsam and very visible. You are not doing any Kommunikationsbruch, so the speaker can continue speaking. It can be executed in a funny way. We then move on to Mündliche Fehlerkorrektur und Unterrichtsphasen, in which phase, what to do, how to correct, all those things are explained. So in the Unterrichtsphase, give them kognitiven gelenkte Übungsphase. So mostly failures are done in the Übungsphase. So we begin with the Übungsphase. Here explain the rules and the regulations and the structure and give them exercise to practice the same. Whenever they do mistakes, correct them immediately and quite often, and try to give them hints so that they can correct themselves. Then you do Gruppenarbeitsphase. Here also corrections are very important. Only in this case the students take the help from other students. Most of them are writing corrections only, and this is for project Arbeit. Then you have a separate phase called as Korrekturphase. You can basically dedicate a separate section for Korrekturphase. So the teacher takes a look at what has happened in the class and they note down the errors, and end they will do the correction. So let's say you are doing a Fehler and then you note down what are the mistakes they are doing, and then you dedicate a separate 10 minutes saying that, hey, this is Korrekturphase and here I am going to tell what are the errors you guys made. And then you have gelernte Gesprächsphasen, freie Phasen. So here you concentrate on the kommunikationshindernde Fehler. So when somebody was trying to communicate and that was not correctly communicated, then these errors will be corrected here. All other correctors are basically waste, because the student wants to basically come to the point quickly where he wants to communicate his idea correctly. So in this case, just correct what was bothering the communication and then give them the correct formulation. The final one is Korrektur von Interkulturellen Fehler. These kinds of error takes place during the Freianwendungsphase because they are usage of one culture's verbal, non-verbal aspects in the other culture. So most of them are Irrtümer, meaning not fully automated errors. So always analyze the error together with the student and find out what he was trying to communicate. Sensibilize the student of the intercultural aspects and then ask him to avoid it in the future. Then you have affective and persönliche Aspekte der Fehlerkorrektur. So if you are going to criticize hard, they are going to take it to heart and they might lose the motivation. So always correct with humor and give them a positive picture of the errors. All these corrections have a very lasting effect on their motivation and the emotional feelings of the students. So make sure always give them an acknowledgement saying that, hey, very good usage of the sentence, and then say, hey, yeah, you could do this in a better way.
With that, the chapter comes to an end. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment to the channel. If you have any questions, then contact me via email or put down your comments and I'll be able to reply. Thank you.